Thank
There
you.
you go.
Uh-huh.
So, hey, you know, it's 4th of July.
It was 4th of July.
You want this?
You know, it really becomes, thank you. I think I gave it the office.
So this is, what is this, July limited series?
Yeah, this is July Limited Series, just like the sign says over there.
So the
Mr.
number
Teleprompter over here.
number one country per capita in consumption of alcohol, by far, not even 10% more, like double, is the Vatican. Did you know that?
Well, think of how many masses they have, and that kind of thing.
Still.
That's pretty funny, though.
Much
It's funny because when you say that, it makes sense. Hell, no sex. You might as well do something. Drinking is the next thing I'd prefer if I could.
But we just passed France in total cases consumed. It's still, they're 9th on the list.
Yeah, but that's actually not a really cool number, because I think it's kind of scary when you think about it. I mean, for the first time in the last 5 years, both France and Italy, more than half of their adults say they're not alcohol drinkers. More than half, and that's a scary number. Which means they're making the same amount of wine. What are they going to do with it? They got to send it somewhere else.
Yeah, speaking of that, we have an Italian wine today. No, I'm kidding, joking.
Kunza.
So, wait a minute. We have it to Monterey Vineyards, Chardonnay, 75.
That was 40
years
ago, right?
Good winery. We were talking about the earlier podcast that we used to go to the market back then, because the markets didn't have the volume of shelf space they had dedicated to wine like they do now, and there was a lot of it was Monterey Vineyard wine.
Oh, sure. No, they were a big deal.
My dad's shop.
A lot of Monterey. Well, he was really close friends with Dick Peterson, and his daughter. He had Heidi Peterson. Became Heidi Barrett, one of the most sought-after winemakers in the state of California. That. Yeah, that's his daughter. That's Heidi Barrett.
I did not know.
And
did not know that.
Yeah, well,
did not.
That's why I'm here. Anyway, can we get back to Kunza?
Chateauneuf du Pape, though.
Duluth Chateauneuf du Pape, which I'm sure at $6.50 was worth every penny of it.
In fact, I don't even see them anymore. Hardly ever see Chateauneuf du Pape in here.
Well, no, you see it.
Some of those things I don't see them much.
No, you don't. You're going to see those in medium-sized wine shops, but people just don't buy that stuff anymore. So,
now you can get to the wine, Ed.
Whew. Thank you.
This is
I don't even sell it. He sells it, and he wants to talk about something other than the wine. So you go figure.
It's 50-50 Cab Carmenere.
Carmenere, yeah. Well, Carmenere is a killer grape.
The nose is incredibly complex.
It's so funny. This is such a French story. Carmenere was thought to be Merlot when it was in Bordeaux. They said, "Oh, that's Merlot." Well, somebody looked under its dress and said, "Hey, geez, it's not Merlot. It's something else." So they figured out what it was. They gave it a name, and then they banished it to Chile. He said, "No, we don't want any more of this stuff. We want Merlot."
Which does well in Chile.
Well, it does well. Look, it did well in Bordeaux. Okay, I mean, you taste Carmenere, you taste Merlot. I'll tell you, there ain't a whole lot of difference between them. I mean, they're very, very similar wines, but they're not genetically the same. So we have to be perfect.
This wine has a lot of backbone, and I can't tell if it's
beautiful
the Carmenere or the Cab, but it's
or the Merlot.
It's good. Yeah, it's really got strength.
This is a wine that, if you put it in a Bordeaux tasting, very few people would say it's not Bordeaux. That's the ringer, because it really has elegance. It's got structure.
It's got
got
none of that
length.
herbaceousness or that green olives that
Nothing.
you get sometimes from these wines.
And you get it from Bordeaux. But you don't get effusive fruit. It's not like, oh, it screams and laps your face and says, "Oh, hi, I'm a lap dog Bordeaux." No, it doesn't do that.
That's a 98 for me. That's really good. These are nice roasted.
That is really, really good. Yeah, I'm doing a 98 too. I mean, that's a classy bottle of wine.
Classy bottle of wine for a semi-classy guy.
And then there's me. Okay. Would somebody explain to me? They never explained to me where they came up with this name.
I was just going to ask where they came from.
I mean, some of these names, some of these labels, I tell you.
You know what it is?
Mind-boggling.
It's got to be a surf term. Santa Barbara, the perfect left. It's a surf term.
I think you might be right, but I don't know if
this is so Santa Barbara.
This is really Santa Barbara Pinot Noir. There's no question about that.
Wow.
And actually, it smells like Santa Rita Hills. Does it say Santa Rita Hills on it? Is it Santa Rita? No, it just says Santa Barbara County, but it's produced and bottled by Perfect Left. And they're in Santa Maria. Oh, so this came from Santa Maria. This is near Tally.
It's got a little more earthiness than some of the basic Santa Barbara Pinots.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot how good it was. I
Wow.
had tasted it a long time ago.
That is really delicious, yeah. That's a really
I think
world-class Pinot.
One thing about Pinot Noir, because it's so indigenous to the ground it grows in other words, the character is so effusive of the ground.
Absolutely.
I think Santa Barbara is one of the great districts of the world for Pinot Noir.
I don't think there's any question about that.
Even though it's a complete departure from its French counterpart.
Well, yeah, that's true. I mean, you can't compare them. It's not fair. I mean, Oregon's the same thing. I mean, everybody talks about the weather, but Brian Babcock said it best. He said, the grape is a conduit to the soil. Whatever's in that soil is going to show up in the grape, and it doesn't make any difference what the grape is. The soil's going to have an impact, and it's
Amazing.
Absolutely right. And this is really good. $39.99 on the shelf, which for classy Santa Barbara Pinot Noir is pretty good. $15.99 is a joke, and I'm doing a 97.
97.
Yeah, okay, would you stop agreeing with me? Because you started off, we were,
I disagree with that, Ed.
Oh, thank you.
So there's a book out called Third Plate by Dan Barber, the king of food, Farm to Table. Have you seen this book?
Oh, Farm to Table, yeah, I know that book, but
Well, he's the author of it. He's the guy that owns Blue Hill Farms in New York. It's a great book because he's talking about the way we bastardize farms in America to apply to grapes for sure. It starts with wheat and how you go around what we've done to the cattle, what we've done to the grazing fields, what we've done to the meat. It's pretty interesting. You'd enjoy the book.
you mean in terms of using pesticides and herbicides? Yeah. Well, I mean, the fact is that if you start with an organic vineyard from the beginning, and I went up to the Gallo vineyards in the early 1990s and saw what they were doing when they were preparing the ground to be a complete organic vineyard. It's massive, huge, lots of money. But once it's done, then you don't spend any money for herbicides and pesticides. You've got all these little cultures all over the vineyard. Well, these insects take care of these, and this row crop takes care of this. And yeah, you spend a lot of time and effort, but the results are much better.
That's what you're saying. You get 3 crops. He's growing corn, but he's got 3 other crops to protect the ground from other things. And all of a sudden, you got 3 crops going.
That's right.
That's a lot of crop. So
that was actually pretty good.
Okay, I flipped over this wine when we tasted it, which wasn't that long ago. It was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. The guy brought it in. I said, okay, we've got to find a way to get this into the club right away. And it's got Greco Bianco.
Greco Bianco.
And probably my favorite white wines in my entire career of doing all this are these indigenous Italian white grapes.
I hate to break the news to you.
Go ahead, Ed.
You know what
I can handle it.
Do you know what Greco means in Italian?
Wrestling.
Greece. The grape came from Greece. It's a Greek grape. And they've been growing it better than the Greeks do.
All right, nothing I like better than the indigenous Greek grapes.
How quickly he responds. It's true though, like Greco di Tufo, which is a huge selling wine in Basilicata in central Italy. It's called Greco di Tufo because it comes from Greece.
We've never drank Greco di Tufo from Greece. We've never had it from Italy.
Here's the thing though. Greco means Greek. So it's a Greek grape, but they don't know what varietal of grape it is. Okay, they just know it came from Greece because the Greeks planted.
How do you know?
Vineyards.
This says Greco Bianco, white Greek. Maybe it's just a white Greek guy put him in the ground.
Okay.
How do you know that's not the case?
You're right.
What about Montanico, Mr. Smarty Man?
I just heard about the Monrovians today.
How about the wine?
The wine's delicious. The wine is absolutely delicious. $24.98 on the
Is it
shelf.
Sicilian? No. It's Calabria.
No, it's Calabria. Yeah, way down at the toe of the boot. $13.99 reorder price, and I'm doing a 98. I think this wine's absolutely stunning.
I'll agree with that.
Really, really nice bottle. But I love these wines from this area, from Sicily, especially the whites now.
I love Sicilian whites.
20 years ago,
as close to Sicily as you can get without getting to Sicily.
You can throw a grape to Sicily from Calabria. My dad was born in Calabria. My mother's family is from Sicily. So I like to say I'm half Italian, the other half is Sicilian. Don't mess with me. This is delicious. What did we say, 98?
Yeah.
Okay. That's really good.
Another late entry.
Another late entry?
Yes, Star Lane. Sometimes on these Tuesdays where we're tasting wines and I'm looking for something to fill the spot and I'm like, I need something that day, and all of a sudden, boom, a guy walks in who I've never seen before, never tasted their wine.
Well, that happened
before.
this morning when I showed you some wines.
Yes,
Yeah.
but those things sucked.
Except I think we saw each other once before.
Sure.
How many times do you think we've seen each other? 10,000?
Could be. This needs to blow up a little bit.
This is really... Yeah, it's got a little... There's a little sulfur in there. Yeah, a little SO2, but...
A little wine on the table.
Little wine on the table. Yeah, well, that's why the finish on this table is so perfect.
Now, The reason I chose this is because Happy Canyon.
Yeah.
It's the total departure from the Sauvignon Blancs that we taste from closer to the coast. This is further north, right?
Right.
Further inland.
Further inland, but it's got more acidity. You
Right.
would think it would be a little fatter because it'd be warmer, but it's not. And Happy Canyon it's kind of interesting. I didn't even know they grew Sauvignon Blanc in Happy Canyon. As far as I know, Happy Canyon is Cabernet and I think Merlot and maybe Cab Franc. But I guess Sauvignon Blanc would work there. Anyway, this certainly does.
Lots of grapefruit.
Oh yeah, now I'm getting the grapefruit. I'm also getting some kind of exotic, almost apricot sort of component that you don't normally get with Sauvignon Blanc.
like
a little dried, exactly, dried apricot. $22.99 on the shelf, very exotic. $13.99. I'm doing a 95. What do you think?
I got 96.
Okay, fine.
Hike.
And I believe, thank God, it's the end. That's our show for July of 2017 limited series Club of the Wine Month.
Wine Club of the Month. That's what we call it.